Sometimes you have no choice but to put a lot of words on your slides, then how? So captivating visual actually isn't so much about the amount of text on your slides or on your poster. It's about how you make it easy to digest and whether the message is clear enough. So over here, what do you use your slides for? There are three different types. We have the keynote speech one, where it's about 10 to 30 words, keep it very succinct. And then you realize that you also don't really have to follow a particular template. Usually you have a big image at the background. And then you have this slide format where it's meant for a closed room meeting or a virtual presentation like this, 30 to 50 words, some helping words for people to make sense of the piece of information, and then for the presenter to elaborate. And then the slide document, you realize it's the same imagery with this lady over here and same headline, join us in our pursuit towards a more sustainable world. But then, of course, these are dummy text. You realize it's actually very, very heavy in text. It's almost like a magazine, right? We call this a slide doc or a slide document. And this is meant for reading without you being there. And sometimes you might find yourself using slide document to present. That's fine as well. You can use simple animation so that people don't read ahead of you. That's fine. So it's really not so much about the number of text on our slide. Of course, we want to try to keep it as concise as possible when you don't use two words when one would do. But then beyond that, it's not so much about, oh, can I have less? Because sometimes less is less, not less is more. It depends on the functionality. This is one example. If we have all of these bullet points, then it's like, wow, so wordy. Then how? We talk about the imagery as well as the layout, correct? And overall look and feel. So we change the layout, we add some, look and feel. So we put this is what we call typography hierarchy. Many of you should know this. And then change the colors a little bit so the hierarchy is a lot clearer. And people have a chance or a choice to either just look at the purple text or look at the details. They should get a gist. Oh, this is about Singapore becoming a leading digital economy, and then putting an imagery. So you realize that when we talk about the spill process, it is story, point, imagery, layout, and look. We would encourage all of you to start off this way in a very sequential approach where you have the imagery first, then the layout, then the look. However, once you have gotten a hang of all of this design mechanism, then it's okay for you to sometimes start off with the overall layout first before you then put the imagery, then the look. It's all about making design functional. And in story, it's the same thing as well. Any piece of information that you're adding into your conversation, right? Is it serving a purpose and a function? If the answer is no, then maybe you should remove that. So the philosophy, when we talk about visual storytelling, it's all the same for both story and visual aspect. This is also something interesting. Does your slide pass the glance test, or your poster, does it pass the glance test? Even without looking at the word, can people more or less guess what the slide is about? Take a look at this particular one, right? You see my mouse here? With the image itself, oh, it's an application. Is it trying to talk about the features of the app maybe? Then over here, you see that there's this very faint arrow. Of course, this slide is being shrunk. There are faint arrows. Is it trying to talk about a process? So there are 3 steps in this process. Then this one as well. Oh, are there 3 key points? This one also, you realize actually the words are blurred, but you can tell that it's a very wordy slide, correct? Because it's meant for reading. So again, it's not so much about the words, just by layout itself, how you organize a piece of information will make such a big difference in how people perceive and understand and comprehend the key message, okay? So I would really invite all of you to turn to your worksheet and then revise all of the different principles and put all of them together, okay? Many of the questions that you guys asked are actually covered in the workshop. And sometimes you even have more wordy slides than this. And again, it looks quite clean, but then if we were to change the layout, then yeah, suddenly it looks different. It's the same exact content, same amount of text, and even you have space to put in the icons, right? So layout, very, very important. If there's something that you want to focus on to immediately make your document a lot more visually appealing, I would say try to use the layout, okay? And the principle is this. How do people process the piece of information? What do they look at first, next, and last? If you can make it easy for them to, scan through the slide or the document through their usual way of processing and digesting information, then it's a win already. Okay.